Okay, welcome guys. We're doing NieR and Automata to NieR. The fuck off.
Heavy deck standard tolerance estimated activating short-range attack gear.
Hello guys, welcome to another video from Oscar Cooper. I hope you're all well. What we've got today is not a comparison as such, but I'm holding these two games up for a sort of overlook, and I want to give anyone who doesn't own either an idea about what they're like, and anyone who owns one of the two, hopefully help them make a decision on whether the other one's worth getting, essentially, because they are both hack and slash games, but they're hugely different, and sometimes the same in certain areas. I'll point that out later. We're going to start with Nioh. Nioh is a game from Team Ninja. As you can see, it's a very, very hectic Souls clone. Alright, what I mean by that is that From Software came out with this idea a long time ago with Demon Souls and Dark Souls and Bloodborne, and it sort of carried through, and the guys at Team Ninja have thought, oh, we can do this, let's have a go. I've got to eat my words a little bit with this game, because about 2 months ago I put a tweet out to them saying, look, why can't you come up with your own ideas, for God's sakes? You've got, you know, all of the same stuff going on in your game as the Souls game, but holy moly, you need to listen to this now. This game is, it fights in its own right. What I mean is it's a standalone brilliant piece of work, regardless of whether it takes a huge amount from software, so to speak. It's a game that's a little bit different in regards to the world map. It works in missions, and another thing that it's also different on is that it's actually very loot based, and this is a real draw for me because I'm a big Diablo player actually over on the PC, and I love games like Borderlands where, you know, it's all about that rare drop, and you can actually mix and match your armor up in this game. I'll go into a little bit of detail of that in a second, but just as an introduction, quick overview, let's go over to NieR Automata and see what's going on there. No, I haven't put the wrong game in. NieR actually straddles a few genres, right? It's quite interesting. The game is a conjunction of Platinum and Square Enix, so I've got respect for both of those studios, but my main sort of draw is the Platinum aspect, because Platinum games always sort of swing in and out of shooters, etc. The fact that Square Enix is involved in this is another pull as well, because it means the game's going to have this great piece of polish. Just a quick bit of background on Platinum and what's been happening with them recently. You must know that they had a few catastrophic failures with games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was okay, but that Star Fox on the Wii U was just absolutely dire, and they had a huge cancellation with the Dragon game Scalebound. It was like it cancelled at the 11th hour, and it was an Xbox One exclusive, which was must have been a huge blow both to Xbox owners and to Platinum as well, because it looked like that game was in the latter stages of development. But anyway, one of the draws that's taken me to NieR is the fact that it's got this classic Platinum combat in it, and I think that that's something that you should all take really seriously. If you're a sort of hardcore Souls player and you're not into Platinum, then this still will have some draw for you. It's quite a difficult game, but I mean, what I need to emphasize is that this Square Enix production, it's got an open world questing aspect to it, and there's a real draw point here, and it is not what you expect. It's actually the game's soundtrack. Have a little listen to how weirdly awesome this is.
Uh-oh. I'm picking up hostile machine life forms.
back to Nioh, and I think its combat is also a huge drawing point for me. One of the issues with the Souls games is that they didn't do range very well, and this game kind of nails it with ranged weapons and their effects on things, their elements. The sort of, you can actually get a gun in this game as well. It's very detailed, and the combat has a little bit of nuance on it. What you've got up there on the top left is your energy in the blue bar, and as you can see going down there is my green stamina bar. As I'm flailing in midair, I'm losing stamina, and stamina cost to block as well, but you get an opportunity to actually win your stamina back after sort of delivering some blows. They don't have to hit all the time, but you get this blue dust around you, and then you slam the R1 button and you get your stamina back. Now Bloodborne did this completely differently. It did it with the health, that you could actually get that back, but it's a really clever idea. You get this really cool sort of risk reward, but it's difficult to remember to do it every time. Now another thing I want to cover about NieR, and I'm up to about level 3, right, and I have put 16 plus hours into the game, and this will show you why. The bosses are relentlessly difficult. In a good way, not in a smash up your TV way, in an actual learn the pattern, go back in there, you know, deliver the goods, and just like Souls games, you know, that was really the pinnacle of the enjoyment for me, were how sort of grand and difficult the bosses were and how satisfying they were for actually killing them. This is a really huge drawing point for the game. I think it hangs off how amazing these boss fights are. You do have a special, which is actually that meter in the far left. When that's built up, you can actually bring out an animal spirit power. It's a bit weird. One thing I wanted to mention was this game reminds me of Akami in some strange, perverse way. I think it's the Japanese mythology, the cool art style, and just how strangely humorous it is in places.
I'm transmitting your pod program.
Pod program download complete.
NieR also does an incredible job on bosses, and if you know Platinum, you know that they love a massive, huge boss that occupies the entire screen. Completely outlandish, great fun to interact with. The nearest thing to this game for me when it comes to bosses, and kind of the swordplay, is the Metal Gear Revengeance game, which was great. You've got a Bayonetta style dodge, and you've also got a machine gun little robot here, which is controlled from the pad, and you have a lock-on button as well, so it gives you that range. It can also be upgraded, etc. You can see that it puts out a big laser as and when it builds up. The variety in the bosses is good. They range from these sort of robot android style to almost humanoid. Now, I won't give any spoilers away too much, but there's quite a lot going on with the story on this game. It's a little bit mental, to be quite honest with you. I'm not keeping up too good with it, but I'm enjoying the variety and I'm enjoying some of the characters. There's this strange cuteness about these little robots, and they're also actually sort of industriously quite devastating as well. Some of them are huge. I'll show you a bit of a mini boss here. I just want to touch very quickly on how cool the weapon system is in Nioh. It's got so much depth to it. There's so many different types of weapon. You master each one the more you use it. There's all that traditional amazing samurai armor in here. You can swap everything in and out. You can combine stuff. There's all these different perks to it. It's absolutely awesome. You can give offerings at the shrines to get rid of your old stuff. Amazing. With NieR, it's a little bit more streamlined. I don't have a problem with this. Yeah, there are upgrades. Yeah, there's different types of sword, etc. And yeah, you can actually upgrade that small machine gun pod. You can swap in specials with that. I actually just opened up a new sword, which changes my attack slightly. But you don't need to worry about it when you've got combat like this. So I want to touch on very quickly that the two worlds that these games exist in, and they're vastly different. With Nioh, you've got some really amazing work put into how aesthetically Japanese and sort of 16th, 17th century architecture shines through here, and also the enemy placements are great. They took a nod from there with where they put everything and secrets and sort of little tunnels. There may be linear missions, but there's an awful amount to explore and tiny little things to find out. They're well worth going through again on all of the levels. You may have noticed me going near these are red swords in the ground. They all have a rank and they're an optional boss, and my god, they're like fighting an actual AI opponent. NieR's world is kind of the polar opposite to Nioh. I mean, everything is very sparse and far between. It's very desolate. There's not a lot of granular detail here within this world. That's not a huge problem. The game is kind of technically open world, so it needs to have a lot of space. What the draw point is for me with this game is actually the way it straddles genres. It does that really well and seamlessly. It's actually not a bad platforming game either. I'm aware that it's a sequel of a fairly unknown original game on the previous generation systems, but it's got its own reasons for being good. Don't forget that Nioh actually has a multiplayer, and just like the Souls games, you can pull in some random to help you kick the shit out of one of the bosses. You can't speak to them in real time, and I'm not too sure how easy it is to get your mates in, but it's there and it really helps. Closing comments. I think there's something here for everybody in both these games. I hope this video sort of shown you which direction you want to go in, and if you haven't got either, they're worth grabbing. And of course, I'm going to leave you with this great music.